I want to stack these up in Grandma's chair. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Records with Ralph. Before we get started, I wanted to mention a friend of mine named Gene Compton who passed on here recently. He was kind of instrumental in getting the Central Kansas Vinyl Collectors Association getting started with using his store, Dexter's, to host them several times. He even hosted it at his house for a couple of times when he was in between moving his business. And he passed on. He was a real nice man. I bought a Sansui 5000X receiver from him to replace the one that I had bought in the Navy. I was really happy that I'd found that. Just came across it in his shop. And I remember he told me something. I was telling him about what happened to my other 5000X, and I said it's a sad story, and he says they're all sad stories because he'd been through all kinds of stereo gear and equipment. I heard there was a story like one time he donated like 2,500 albums to somewhere or something like that, but he was a real vinyl collector, and I just want to say thanks a lot, Gene, and good to know you, and rest in peace. What we're going to do today is talk about my boxed sets that I have collected over the years. We're going to start off here with this complete Blue Note recordings of Thelonious Monk. This is on a label called Mosaic. They started in the early 80s, and you notice this is 101. This was their first set that they put out. And if you notice on the inside here, they come with a nice booklet all full of all kinds of information and recording information track by track. I've collected all sorts of things from them. Just things I've collected in this book, a little newspaper clipping when Monk died. There's an advertisement for a Riverside Recorders. Can you imagine getting a 22 record set? Just stuff you used to get in these records. Anyway, Thelonious Monk. We're going to show you a whole bunch of different range of music here. Here we got another one of these Mosaic sets. The complete Pacific Jazz studio recordings of the Chet Baker Quartet with Russ Freeman. Chet Baker, look at that guy, he's sharp. Later in life, he didn't look so sharp. He led kind of a tragic life. A whole bunch of bad stories about Chet Baker. But the man could play, and he also sang. And what I like about Chet is that you can hardly tell the distinction between his singing and his trumpet playing, because his phrasing, his articulation, the way he runs a melody, they sound the same. I like Chet Baker. What else do we have in the collection? Here's one. A tribute to E. Power Biggs. You ever hear of pipe organs? They used to have this guy go in, I don't know what a pipe organ, but they used to have him with an organ. They'd set him up in the Fillmore and have all these spaced out hippies listen to this powerful organ music. I like the sound of a pipe organ, and this is great. I had the experience one time of a pipe organ, played for a funeral. We were practicing on the little electric piano downstairs, electric organ downstairs. And the lady says, well, I've got the key to the pipe organ upstairs. So we went upstairs, we turned that thing on, and when them bellows came on, it was like that pipe organ just started breathing. It just came alive or something. And she hit that key. We're like, yeah, we're going to do it from up here. And just to let you know, it was a funeral for my father-in-law. And the one side of the church, we were up in the balcony where the pipe organ was, and one side of the church was basically empty, reserved for the family. And after they came through, wheeled him down the middle, and that whole side of that church just filled up. And when we played, it was just a wonderful sound up there in the balcony with that pipe organ. And what I remember about it is my boss came up to me the next time he saw me at work, and he was kind of a rough sort of fellow, but he came up to me and he said the music, and he kind of choked up and he said, was beautiful. And I said, well, thank you. But my experience with a pipe organ, E. Power Biggs, box sets, back to that. Collector's History of the American Blues starts off with Louis Armstrong and Bix Beiderbecke. It goes way back. It's even got Ray Charles in there, though. John Lee Hooker Lightning. This is ghost stuff. Just way old-time stuff. Records. Chicago, their fourth album. This was live. They had done 1, 2, and 3, and then they did this fourth album. And then to me, after that, they kind of went downhill. There's a lot of these little Time Live type collection things that end up, Reader's Digest thing, that end up in the bargain bin that are really kind of junky, but this one is not junky. Nat King Cole, wonderful singer, wonderful singer. 12 Sides of Miles. I was working I was playing down at Marcella's. This little supper club had us playing. This one guy came up to me and he says, "Here, Ralph, I want to give you this." And it's these 5 record albums, 2 record set there, of reissues of Miles. He said, "I used to listen to this when I was studying in school, and I think you would appreciate it. So thank you." That was a nice little surprise. Stan Getz, another one of these mosaic collections. Stan Getz, my hero. Billie Holiday, The Golden Years, 3 record set. You listen to Billie Holiday, it's like listening and put yourself into a movie. Love that lady, Billie Holiday. Jethro Tull, 20 years of Jethro Tull. Outtakes, rarities, stuff that didn't get released. The complete candid recordings of Charlie Mingus. I just want to show you a little bit of this. So they used to send you stuff in the mail. Mosaic brochure number 4. They were going to send you, let you know about their latest stuff. There's a picture in here. This is Mingus. He was always kind of a rebel. When he wasn't invited to this one Newport Jazz Festival, he organized his own the Newport Rebel Jazz Fest. And I always had trouble with this finding it the other night. I should have marked it. There's a wonderful picture of, these guys, they're out on a barge, and here's Ornette Coleman playing his white plastic saxophone. We got Kenny Dorham, Charlie Mingus, Max Roach, and that was it. They're having the Newport Rebel Festival right there. And this is some of the candid recordings of Charlie Mingus. So now I've got the complete Pacific Jazz and Capitol recordings of the original Jerry Mulligan Quartet and Tentet with Chet Baker. Lee Konitz is also on here, and he just plays some crazy stuff. This was kind of a revolutionary bunch of guys because they didn't have no piano, and they did a wonderful job without it. But I've always liked this little picture here of this place called The Hague, where this stuff was recorded. It was in the early 50s in Los Angeles, and I just thought that would be a magical place to have been in American history. Chet Baker, another one with Chet Baker. Here's a complete 45 sessions with Ike Quebec. Probably not too many people have heard him. Wonderful player, Ike Quebec. We got another one, the Freddie Red sessions. This is another mosaic set that has Jackie McLean on it. They were basically doing an off-Broadway show about, it was called The Connection, dealing with heroin addicts. Why not get some heroin addicts to be the main characters? It's a good album. Linda Ronstadt, there's a 3 record set called Round Midnight with Nelson Riddle and his orchestra. This lady sang all kinds of stuff, from pop stuff to this, she did some Mexican albums, but this was some big band stuff, singing the American songbook, and it's just some really nice music with Nelson Riddle. It's a throwback to the olden times. Smithsonian Collection of Jazz, more records, but what about these box sets? They give you these nice little books that you can look at and read all about it. You don't get that with your streaming when you just go click, click. I don't know. I like these old box sets. Here's a neat one. This is the complete stack set from 59 to 68. Now I just want to show you this one picture in here of these guys. These are the guys who went down in the plane that crashed with Otis Redding. These guys right here, the original Barkays. You notice their equipment. It's that old custom stuff that was made down the road here in Chanute, Kansas. They got all matching outfits. The dude playing the Farfees, the compact duo, it's just amazing. But yeah, they all went down in the plane, and the only guys who lived were the guys on the end, the trumpet player and the bass player, and they reformed and kept on going. But I think that's a nice picture of the original Barkays. I remember the first time I saw that custom equipment was over at Ulick Music in Wichita, and I could not believe what I was seeing. It was wonderful colored glitter amps. Here we go. Here's some stuff that's also kind of goes into that Time Life Reader's Digest type stuff that people kind of look down their nose at, but this is some wonderful stuff. This is swing music from the 40s, big band stuff. It's amazing how this stuff got to record. And here, have the band come around the whole microphone and blow into it, and you're a little bit loud, back up a little bit, and one take, and let's go. And this is some crazy music. Listen to this stuff. The swing air. I like this one here. Stuff you used to get in these box sets. You know, here's an actual book, you know. All kinds of stuff. Let you know what was going on. You don't get that with your streaming. I'm sorry. Call me an old boomer. That's what I am. I love that swing. Okay, boomer. Let's see. Here's another one, the great band era. Listen to them. Give them a break. You won't believe the musicianship that you see here. And we're getting down to the bottom here of these records. Muddy Waters record set here. If I had to break it down to a favorite blues man, Muddy Waters would be it. Okay, now we're getting to something that's not really a box set, but it's a 3-record set, which is kind of unusual. It opens up like that, and it's just called the saxophone. It's kind of the history of saxophone. It's just got a whole bunch of people on it, and it's a nice album, kind of a different packaging. But I want to show you the kind of the granddaddy of them all right here. This is a thing called the jazz scene. This was something that was put out in 1949 by Mr. Norman Granz, and there's Lester Young. You notice here, it opens up with a nice David Stone Martin sketch about what jazz is supposed to be doing. But here he is. It's got Norman Granz signed it. It's got a copy of it. It was sold by Mark's Music at the corner of Fruit and Idaho in Farrell, Pennsylvania. Stamp. But this was something that Norman Granz put out in 1949. These are 12-inch, 78-inch records, where at the time these were basically only reserved for a few classical records. Jazz and popular records were out on 10-inch ones. And he commissioned all the guys at the time to write a song for his endeavor here, the jazz thing, the jazz scene. And I've got all the records in here. There's beautiful pictures in between, black and whites, Buddy Rich. It's just a wonderful set. I like the thing at the very back, towards the back here. Norman Granz also got involved. Verve Story, he started up Verve Records. Here's a nice little what happened afterwards. Black cat going over there going, yep, that's what's happening. Anyway, this is a nice collector. Like I said, it's probably the granddaddy. It's not really a box set, but there wasn't anything else like it at the time. 1949. I'd say the top 3 sets that I have that I think that people would enjoy the most or be the most educational, that's why I view this music as kind of educational, is the Jerry Mulligan and Chet Baker things that he put together. It's just a wonderful counterpoint stuff that they do because they don't have a piano player. And here's Monk. If I had to distill it down to my favorite jazz man, it'd be Thelonious Monk. Look at that mic. And why not 12 Sides of Miles Davis? This is a pretty good covering of his career. Kind of blue on there, his bitches blue on there. You know, Miles, he did something kind of interesting. You know, in 49, he came up with this thing called The Birth of the Cool. In 59, he came out with this kind of blue, which introduced this modal jazz type thing. And in 69, he came out with Bitches Brew, which started in his electric ways. So not too many people were that versatile, and Miles Davis was able to pull it off, and the stuff he made is considered classics in the way of jazz effects. The Kind of Blue album is the biggest selling jazz album of all time. So anyway, that's about it. I've got a whole stack of other box sets here for the next time, but I appreciate you watching for now, and I had fun. I hope you did too, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.